and I would just add and contribute to the conversation, the concept, Ryan, looking at, from a funding and economic standpoint, looking at, blended and weighted funding, perspective. What we're finding also is you'll see that, homelessness from a juvenile standpoint is how it's crossing over to multiple systems. When you talk about the trajectory to the juvenile justice system, the mental health system, child welfare system, etc., you're finding that young people cross multiple systems under a premise of homelessness. And so, a strategic way of thinking about, economically and how to look at, diversifying funding streams in order to continue to support housing development, continue to support resources and allocation of resources for young people is tapping into other funding streams that are not specific to housing or specific to homelessness, but specific to the other domains that homelessness crosses over into, from child welfare to juvenile justice to even the school system like we've highlighted here. I think that's often a step that's bypassed when other systems are addressing specific issues to their systems, but an underlining tone of each is homelessness and poverty. And so, I've had the opportunity to work with Chris Connor. I've worked at Urban Peak and know who Mr. Reynolds is, so thank you for being here. I think that's extremely important. But in my work with young people in homelessness, that's what we often found, is that homelessness is an underlining four-based tone that has young people traject into other systems that are also as not economically efficient. So lobbying those other systems to really identify, this baseline of homelessness as a issue that addresses and affects other systems, I think is a very effective strategy in allocation of resources and looking at other funding streams to diversify the portfolio of revenue to really address homelessness as an overall holistic issue versus a housing issue.
Go ahead, Chris.
I just want to totally agree, and we rely on those other systems to find a glimpse of what homelessness looks like. To cite again the Department of Education counts that are richer than a point in time because they're counts that aggregate themselves over the entire school year. I'm very familiar with the numbers for Denver public schools in particular. 2681 is the number of homeless students in K through 12 in Denver public schools. 26% of those kids are in first grade or under. Half of them are in fourth grade or under. What homeless systems don't find or see those. Like our street outreach efforts, for as amazing as they are on serving, I used to be an outreach worker with Urban Peak, so I worked probably 17 and up, but even into the adults and deeply chronic older folks, street outreach is not a good method for finding a first grader. Not a good method for finding a fourth grader. So we definitely rely on cross-system collaboration, even just to see what the issue of, how far the issue of homelessness is going. So definitely being creative, not only in the funding, but also in kind of our programmatic aspects. What services are these kids getting into schools? There's a family attached to every one of those fourth grade and unders because it's just not realistic to see a fourth grader on the street corner, right? Or asking for a motel voucher. So those are families that are heretofore not even visible to the homeless services network. So it's definitely taking kind of new strategies, and I definitely say since kind of 2008, 2009, we're definitely needing to be more creative in terms of how we're understanding the issue.
I just want to make a suggestion. The ski industry is in this